get started and we'll add it to the agenda when, I think it was something to add to the agenda. Our city clerk went up to run copies of it. Thank you all for coming. We call this meeting to order. Today is the second meeting of the month of April. Roll call.
Alderman Chapman.
Present.
Alderman Bradford.
Here.
Alderman Wilson.
Present.
Alderman DeBose.
Present.
Alderman Vestro.
Present.
Alderman Chastain.
Here.
Alderman Lennon. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Then we have the agenda in front of us. I'm going to change the order of the agenda. Swearing in, we were under presentation. We would do the swearing in of our interim chief, Eaker, and then we'll do the presentation with interim chief Eaker and former chief Davis. And then we'll go to our department monthly reports. And we'll do number 4, which will be a presentation that I've asked Mr. McVeigh Starwell and with ETech. He's worked with the installation of our water meter system. And Mr. Ronnie Temple is here with Hemphill, who installed the water meters. They will do a brief presentation. Except for the item that I'll ask you to allow me to add later. Tricia, because did you have something to add to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay. And is there anything on the Senate agenda item 4.1 through 4.8 to move down for main agenda discussion? Not, can we get a motion to accept the agenda with the correction of the change of order of the agenda? So move. Motion by Alderman Wilson and second by Alderman Chastain. All in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Alderman Bradford.
Yes, unfortunately, Pastor Ricky DeFlanders couldn't be with us tonight. And I have asked Alderman at Large, David Chapman, to step in for the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Bavastro. Ladies and gentlemen, let us pray. Our Father in heaven, once again, we come now with bowed heads and humble hearts. This moment of thanksgiving to thank you for all of your many blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every one of us, both individually and collectively. We thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to come together once again and reason together for the betterment of your city, for the betterment of your program, your divine purpose, and for the betterment of our citizens. We thank you now for all that you have done for us and through us. And we pray that you will continue to bless each and every one of us, instill within us the right mind to make the right decisions for the right reason, might be for the benefit of this city. Bless our mayor, his wife, his family, each and every alderman and their homes represented, all of our citizens in whatever manner you see fit, according to what blessing they stand in need of. We all need something. We're all dealing with some problem, some circumstance that we need your divine guidance and your grace and mercy. Bless us if it is your holy will. Bless this city and every city, this entire country. Bless this world, all of the turmoil and all of the circumstances. We ask that your will be done. And then when our work on earth is ended, we pray for a resting place in your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge.
to the flag of the
United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're down to the presentations and we will start with swearing in. We're happy to have our municipal judge, Melody, here with us today that will do the honors of swearing in our interim chief. Come down and stand with you and also be there to do the training of our firemen.
Do we move?
Do y'all want to stay or do you want to? Can you get another video? Very good. All right, you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, David Eaker,
I, David Eaker,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Mississippi,
of the State of Mississippi,
and obey the laws thereof,
obey the laws thereof,
that I am not disqualified
that I am not disqualified
from holding the office
from holding the office
of interim fire chief,
of the interim fire chief,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give it to the bus. Congratulations.
Thank you. Chief David. Our former chief come back to do fitting of the men that he recommended for this promotion. We're happy he came back to have our interim chief go through this process.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, board. Thank you, Chief. It's
Thank you.
really good to be back in Moss Point. I feel like I never left. Good to see the so just to be clear, everybody that's being recognized and pinned tonight is firefighters that have accomplished and done everything they need to do to be promoted. That's from the testing procedure, the interview procedure, and just making all the right check marks to get where they need to be. Needless to say, these firefighters already been doing the job prior to this promotion, and we are excited to actually give them the badge to identify the position that they're holding. So first, we're going to have Lieutenant Matthews, Harry Matthews. He's been acting BC for my whole tenure, almost 2 years here at Moss Point. And we are excited to promote him to the position of battalion chief. So we're going to present him now with his badge.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we will have Mr. Randy Rutherford. He's firefighter Randy Rutherford, been promoted to lieutenant. Lieutenant is the position that will be the station supervisor. Also is the one that will be training younger firefighters as they come into the fire service. So now we put you in. Next, we will have firefighter Warren. Andrew Warren, he's some kind of firefighter, that's for sure. So we are excited to promote him because, it's not just one time that we hang out, but 2:00 in the morning, we want to show you that. Shining gold. Yeah, come on, make sure you get this fit. I'm looking good. Congratulations. Next, we'll have firefighter Lake Beecham. This is firefighter Beecham. For being promoted to the position of lieutenant. We're excited to do it. You can hold your badge, we present this to you. Last but not least, we will have firefighter Freeman. We have Robbie Freeman. We know him as Bo Freeman. He has been serving on beach still as acting lieutenant for some time now. We present you with your badge, Lieutenant Freeman.
See, you judge. Okay, thank you very much. We're down to the department monthly reports. What, do you have any questions for any of the department head?
Just like to say, Mayor, I want to congratulate Richie and giving him a hard time. They finally got started on Robin Hood Drive. All the neighbors are excited. They got about 20 supervisors over, watch them all day. But thank you and appreciate your help for getting it started.
Any other questions, comments?
Mayor, if I might, I'd like to recognize our police chief. I call him Reverend Chief. And Pastor Stevenson, would you stand? He wasn't expecting this, it scared him to death. Mr. Mayor, celebrated with him on Sunday in his 19th year pastoral anniversary in the Church of New Faith.
Thank you. We're down to number 4. Now that we started April, the first week of April, our first what we call ordinance of water meter bills zone. The first zone, zone 3, went out on first week of April. And I thought I would have the E-Tech McVeigh, who's been helping with the transition, to come in and do a presentation, give some idea of how we're measuring the water, how the meters are working. And also Robbie Temple is here from Hempfield that actually installed the meters. McVeigh? In your own way.
I'm from Eaker. No.
Yeah, you need tech.
Yes.
No, yeah, you.
But
Okay. Okay, both of you guys.
If you want me to start this off, so Mac Bay, he did project managing for this project, worked with the city closely, hand in hand with them, to get the implemented, worked with the installer as well. And, this is some of the data the city has, and I'll let Mac, talk about it, the different alarms, different things that are at the city's fingertips.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so just give some visuals here, after talking with the mayor. I put together a few accounts throughout Reedy Manager, just going through. The cam shut meters are given alarms. So what I wanted to do is just go through, and I have a few examples here. If we're looking at this first one, we can obviously see there is something going on here as far as continuous usage going through that meter. So on the left side, when you're looking at this, what I have here is the daily, we're looking at an hourly on the left side. So if we're looking at this, this meter is averaging over or around 50 gallons per hour through the meter. It's obviously something's going, this continuous usage through that meter. And on the right side, I have another chart, which we can also break down daily. So if you look on the daily frame, it's, much higher. You can see your red triangle up at the top, which is indicating a leak alarm. So the meter is notifying you of something going on. You have that available within Reedy Manager, and this is the data that it provides for that customer. If you want to go over to the next one. So this same thing right here, it is another, we obviously have something going on here. This one is a little bit higher. We're looking at around 80 gallons per hour going through that meter. Very similar to the other one, just on a little higher scale. There's more water going through that account.
So Mac, what could be causing that? Tell us all the things that.
So with this being an info code, this is water that is going through that customer's line. It's going through the customer's meter. So that could be anything from a dripping hose, a water running, toilet running, anything along the customer side. Just because you don't see visible water dripping or coming out the ground from somewhere on the customer's end, doesn't mean there's not a leak.
So what we've been finding since we've started this is that we're going out finding a lot of commodes, not realizing that are running, but it is. And when they get close enough to it, or they go cut off that valve to that commode and then go out and look at the meter's not running. But when you cut that valve back on, you can look at the meter and it's running. So you're using water through that meter. Anytime water goes through that meter, you're being charged for that water. So what we're trying to encourage people to make sure they don't have a leak, that your commodes are not running. Because if anything is running in your house, you got a drip, it's going through that meter. The commode is running, it's going through that meter. And obviously, if you got a leak outside somewhere, it's running through that meter. And that means you're going to be charged for it. And we're trying to get everybody to make sure those things are cleaned up so that we know you get an accurate charge for the actual water that you're using. And I want these gentlemen to come and try to show you that, explain that to you, so that we'll all be aware that the meters are working properly. We can tell you, went out to a house and the gentleman said his meter wasn't running. Well, his water was running so much he cut it off. We was able to show him when he came in exactly what time he cut it off. She started showing zeros and exactly when he cut it back on. So that's how accurate these meters are. So we want to make sure nothing is running in your house because it's going through that meter, whether you believe it or not. I mean,
But to add something to this, these meters read all the way down to 1/100th of a gallon per minute. So that's literally just a pin drop of water. It picks up that small water accurately. So from that all the way up a residential meter to 35 gallons a minute, it's accurately 100% accurately picking up all that water. So not giving away any water, not making any water and overcharging the customer. It's dead accurate. And I can reliably say that 100%.
Right.
All these meters get tested at the factory, and it's to higher standards of what the AWWA standards are. So They have all that test data. There's not a meter that leaves the factory that is not tested.
Right. This is another one. This is just, another high usage account. We're seeing continuous flow through that meter at all hours of the day. Obviously, I don't have this on here, but if you go within Reedy Manager and, you track back on this, you can click back, multiple days. You can look at months, you can look at years. Obviously, I'm keeping it on a month, a day and an hour frame right here, but you can click back and it's consistent with how it is. We're looking at, over 400 gallons per hour on this account, going through the meter. This is something serious that's going on as far as flow going through the meter on an hourly basis. You look at the day frame and it looks like we're approaching 10,000 gallons going through that meter every single day. So this is, high usage account right here that something that looks like is going on.
And Mac, all these slides are from the city of Moss Point.
Yep, these are all Moss Point, which I did not include any of the customer information in this, but I obviously do know which accounts these are within the system.
We wanted to delete the names and addresses just for.
And just know that we got some calls from people. I gave them the addresses of the people that was calling out of concern. And I said, block out the name, but just show us what those meters actually look like so we can see and be able to show the customer that this is actually happening in your home. Got a leak someplace. But they were disputing there's a leak, but when you see this activity, it's happening somewhere. Somewhere you got a leak somewhere. We want to make sure, again, when we go out, we want to make sure it's not on our side. I mean, the city side. And the city side is from the street to the meter. From the street to the meter is our responsibility. If it's leaking on that side, we need to correct it. But from the north side of the meter, the back side of the meter to your house is your responsibility, not the meter leaking. We're not talking about the meter leaking. If the meter is leaking, it's our problem. But if there's a leak from that meter to your house, that means it's somewhere in your yard, in faucets, inside your house, is somewhere in that area. And we want everybody to make sure they check it to make sure that you're sure that it's not on your side. Because if it's on your side, it's coming through that meter and you're being charged for it. Anything else, Mac?
So the next one we have here, I wanted to throw this one for everybody to see. This is, so the Reedy software, Cantrip software, Reedy Manager, this account, it not only flagged for a leak, but it also is a leak and a burst alarm that flagged on this account. So this one, it is, we're looking at hourly, usage on a consistent basis, just like the other three that I displayed for everybody to see. And the usage it's pretty significant on an hourly basis. And if you look on the daily basis, it reflects. This is just another example I wanted to throw in where it was actually showing a burst and a leak alarm for this account.
What the burst mean?
So Robbie, if you want to touch on the burst a little bit.
So it's a threshold that in a short amount of time, it gets over that threshold. It's running so fast that it signals a burst alert versus a leak alert that's just constant usage. And so it could be a smaller amount. It could be down to a trickle would be considered a leak. But a burst is once it gets over a threshold, which is, it's all set in the meters themselves, and that can be adjusted as well from the air, but it's just the difference in severity of the leak that's going on.
So a perfect example of a burst, which I have seen in many different systems. They do have some in Moss Point just like this. It could be an instance where somebody was, washing their car or something, that you track back and you can see on the graph a spike for an hour or so where their consumption was, significant compared to what their average is. It exceeded that threshold for X amount. And then, once that was completed, it did go down. The alarm will go away if it's just something simple as washing your car or, watering the yard.
filling up a swimming pool. You'll see where someone fills up a swimming pool and then it's burst, leak, and then when they stop, it drops right back down and it's down to base level again. Now, I believe he has a slide that shows normal usage, you know.
Yep, so going over here, we're looking at, more normal usage for this customer here. Now on this one, the hourly is on the right-hand side, not the left. So if we're looking at this, we don't have any info codes in reading manager. So the meter's not saying, hey, we're detecting high usage, consistent, flow going through that meter or any spikes. It's more of a normal usage. If you look on the right hand on the graph, you can see where you can hardly even see any line. There's no bar right there because that means that there was no water going through that meter at that time. Typically, when water is not going through that meter, there's going to be the times where you're asleep, you're not using it, which, it's hard for me to see, but I believe that's, around 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, where, you're most likely sleeping, or you might get up to use the bathroom, or you do something along that line. But that's more of what it should look like. I have another one right here, which is showing more normal usage. Again, no info code showing consistent consumption or any spikes. We've got multiple different hours throughout that day that there was no usage going through the meter. I believe I have one more that is showing just normal consumption for this account, which on the left-hand side, you can see that hourly frame where there's multiple hours that there was no usage on that.
And you can kind of look at that meter on the left-hand side where it shows the hourly. You can see where they woke up, took a shower, getting ready for work, probably went to work, came home for lunch, maybe turned on the washing machine, and then they went back and there's just very little water usage still later that evening. And you can actually see the pattern. Yes, sir.
Like, I use a lot of water, like with a swimming pool.
Yes, sir.
It'll go up, but when I get to that pool where at a level where I want it, will that mean eventually automatically start dropping back down?
So we talk about filling it up with the water hose. Once you turn it off, the usage will go down to zero. It doesn't have a shut off it doesn't have a shut off or anything to shut the water off to your swimming pool.
No, I'm gonna shut it off.
Yeah, okay, yes, sir.
But the meter will automatically just,
Yes, sir. As soon as that water stops flowing through there, it goes to zero.
oh, okay. It won't, I was just thinking maybe
It doesn't.
if I have a high usage, it might stay high.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. It drops right off instantly. So there's two different readouts on that meter. There's the big one, just like what you're used to using. And also in the far bottom left-hand corner, there's 4 numbers. And you'll see both of those numbers go to zero when you stop. Or you'll see that one on the far left go to zero when you stop using. The top number will stop turning over.
Gotcha.
But that bottom left number, it's 4 digits. That's essentially your leak detection. There used to be on old meters, the little dial that would sit there and spin. Those 4 numbers on the bottom left-hand corner, that's your new leak detection.
What we want to do right here, McVeigh and Robbie, is allow the audience, if anyone got any questions. We set aside 30 minutes for presentation. We're right at that point now, but I do want to allow, if any citizens got a question or concern that you have, please ask it. So these gentlemen are the experts and they can help you understand it.
Yes.
You guys, really, this is more so addressed to the city side. These leaders, I understand that they are active. But I'd like to know, when does my cycle start and when does it end? My building cycle. And the beat today is who specifically monitors the usage on the city side.
Matt,
What's your address?
1:30, 34, sure.
They look at the computer real quick, I don't know right off the top of my head.
Yeah, the reason it's hard now is because there are different zones. There are different zones. And so we have to determine when you get that, they'll know that, so they'll look that up and get that to you. And show you that on the computer as well. But we have to know what your address, and all that, know what cycle, what zone you in.
Oh, and that would be consistent.
That's right, that's right. Every month, if you, those people get them on the first of the year, of the month, it comes out that way every month. Everybody will get it always at the same time. If you're in the second zone,
You're red, your meter is red, the second Monday of every month, regardless of what the day falls on. Second Monday of every month will read your zone. The third Tuesday of every month, I feel you, the third Tuesday of every month, I feel you. So 15 days from now, you're good. The next day, you're not. Okay. 13 days after that, you're cut off. So that's every month. If you come to my office and I can give you where I can see every month it's a session.
Thank you. See, point out, I like that. That's all.
You got one back.
somewhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they come around and read the meters? Physically come around and drive down the road and read to a machine or something? How does that work?
Great question. No, ma'am, there's 3 collectors in Moss Point. They're on top of water tanks. And these automatically transmit those collectors, then it goes to the cloud, and the city can access it there anytime. And so the readings are actually coming in every 3 hours. And then at 1 o'clock in the morning, it does a backfill of all reads for like the last 3 or 4 days in case it should ever miss a leak.
Work on.
So if these go bad, the screen just goes blank. So there's no moving parts in these meters. There's nothing to wear out. Everything's tested at the factory. It's an ISO 35 factory testing, so it's higher than the AWW standards, which is the national standard. No, man, it's about 22-year product. That's 20-year warranty on it.
So who's their big one?
So it does have a warranty on it, but if it should go out, say the alarm the battery should start to go bad on it, it will actually, it reads the voltage of the battery, and it's months before the battery goes out, it sends an alarm out to let the city know that the meter is going to go bad for 6 months.
City side?
City side, the city is. And they'll send an alarm, just like the leak detection alarms. It's one of those alarms that come across. And there's a screen that you can click on that just has all the alarms for anything. And at the same time that that's going on, we have a monitoring program that we monitor the systems in the background. And if we see anything, we let the city know as well. We have Mac has a full team behind him. That's what they do. There's multiple teams that do monitoring. Oh, Samstrup, KAM, STRUP. It's made outside of Atlanta, just north of Atlanta.
Will somebody notify us if, you talk about alarms, but will there be an alert system in the city where we'll be notified, or will we just read through our bill? That's how we'll be notified.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not people, I can't imagine that somebody's gonna sit there every day and look and say, oh,
Y'all been alerted?
So I had actually wrote that question down myself.
Okay.
Because I have the same exact question. Because I'm looking at the charts. So again, the red triangle means that it's an alarm, right? And I know you just said that if the battery is low, that it will send an alert to the city.
It has a different symbol for that.
But they'll let somebody know. I want to see if it's possible if we can do the same thing with this high water usage. It's just like with your credit card, if you use it out of area, the company will let you know, like, hey, we don't know there's some unusual activity. Is there some way that we can program it to let the citizens know that there's unusual activity outside your norm?
So there's people that do third-party customer portal, and that could be added to this. There's that, and then a lot of times the utility will contact the citizens and let them know.
Yeah, all of this.
But are we, I guess what I'm asking, is, are we set up to do that where our utility will notify citizens? Or is that something we'll have to?
That I don't know. I know y'all get the alarms, but that's up to y'all's process.
Utility has Ready Manager, which has the information in it. But as far as, notifying everybody, that is on y'all's hands.
Matt, is that something that we're capable of doing?
Something maybe that issue every day, where,
Yeah, I think
I mean, it's a new system.
it's a new system. We're all still learning the new system, trying to figure out the bugs on that new system. But as time progresses, we can probably narrow it down to a better answer to you. We'll look into development.
Then the next thing is, does the city have those cell phone numbers? Way to contact you. That's a lot of times the building systems don't have that information.
Spot on.
Man, it's a lithium battery.
And so, this is more of a Clearwater thing, Matt. I had people swear to me that they didn't have a new water meter. So I went out there a couple days ago and I looked, and to my surprise, some of them looked like they had been dug in there for a minute, for a long time, but it was the new meter. It was the new meter. And the people I went to, they were the elderly, and I don't expect them to be able to go out there and check that meter. There's also another service that we could provide, say, hey, we'll send a courtesy over there to check that out so that you'll be able to look at their meter, determine what their issue may or may not be.
Yes, sir. That's what we've been doing today. Is right now customers got concerns, complaints, whatever, we'll go address them at the home front. But all the dirt meter boxes from the rains, so when it rains, all that dirt washes straight to the meter box and covers up the meter. But it's still transplant and everything. Every issue that we've got, we went out and addressed with customers and knocked on the doors and made sure it's kind of explained to them.
So how do you want that process to go? A lot of the complaints were they would try to reach Clearwater, they couldn't reach them. Obviously, it's easier for us. So do you want them to contact their alderman to send a message to you all? Do you want them to contact you all directly? How do you want us to do that?
Yeah, say, that goes directly, and especially the billing office. It's, sometimes I might be on the phone down there and might miss their call, But, if they just contact you in one office, we'll get out there. So I don't mind giving people my cell phone number. They can call me directly. Or y'all can give it out. Or they come to the billing office.
And lastly, just to make sure I don't want to give out misinformation. Okay, I got a leak. Me, right? I got a plumber coming this week. What do I need to do? Is it just, I just take care of the leak and I eat it and that's the end of that? Or do I bring that receipt down to utility? Is there an amendment on my bill? I mean, what is it?
You know what's that?
That's we're discussing.
Don't make no adjustments.
I'm just asking. I'm asking. Mine is a little bit more fortunate where it's a little wiggle room, about $50. I'm talking about more so these cases of upwards 500 plus, for something that they didn't know that they had.
It's something that's got
Okay. Yeah, that's the discussion that we're gonna have to have as a board, is how do you make these adjustments when the citizen have that situation, that they all of a sudden they got a leak, they didn't know they had a leak. So in the past has been when you fix that leak, you bring the proof that you fixed it, we make the adjustment at that time. And I assume we'll go that way forward, but it's up to the board to decide how you want to do that.
Which is also why I asked if there was a way to send an alert like, hey, you might want to take a look at this so it doesn't get to that point. Now, obviously, it's new. We're in the new phase of it, but it's just something to consider so that we don't have to.
And I'd be happy to talk with y'all whenever y'all like to. I know what other utilities do. We could have that discussion.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
I think that they were doing that before we went live with the meters. They were, assessing that, and saw that customers had an excessive amount of water before they went live. And they sent letters out to these customers, telling them, hey, you might want to check, for leaks or for leaking toilets because we do see an excessive amount of water being used. So letters were mailed out before we went live to alert the customer.
Yeah, and sent out 2 batches of
All
letters.
right, that's you, Doctor. You. What's it, Doc? I don't hear you, Doc.
How many people in Mosport are elderly?
Oh, I don't know how many. I don't know how many dollars.
And I'll be honest, I can't get up if I get down on my knees because I got arthritis. So looking down at that.
Yes, ma'am. So, one way we're talking about a leaky toilet, one way to go about seeing if your toilet's leaking is if you take the back cover off of it, put a little food down in the back water tank, and if it shows up in the bowl, that means you have a leaky toilet. That's an easy way to do it without shutting the valve off behind the toilet and all that. Just
So
put,
those are things that we mentioned on our podcast for people to check to see if they had a leak. If you put some kind of coloring in your commode, and if it goes to the bottom, you know that you got a leak someplace. Other than knowing that you can see it, if you physically see it, that's one thing. But if you got a commode that you can't hear it or you can't see it, if you put a coloring in your bowl, then it goes to the bottom, then you know you got a leak.
So,
Hear that. Another way to do it is to make sure, as we said on the podcast, if you know you cut off everything in your house, and I guess that's what you're saying, Doc, you can't go to the meter. But if you go to the meter, and if those numbers are moving at the bottom, you know you got a leak. If you know you cut off everything in your house, you cut off everything in your house, and you go look at the meter. If those 4 numbers at the bottom are moving, you got a leak.
oh, that's the issue.
Yeah.
We just had a leader on the ball. It's.
I know. I know.
So Mayor, a lot of folks are here because their bills are high. You know, it's the second company I've been involved with, admittedly, but I want to ask the lawyer before I say what I got to say. Is this appropriate time to let them know the real reason their bills are high?
Well, at this time, I just got the ordinances. I haven't reviewed those ordinances yet. And these 2 gentlemen wouldn't have knowledge of that, so.
That's why I'm saying I asked you, but the short version is to the citizens. This board got some work to do, in my opinion, because your real problem is the sewage side. And we got to do something. Because if your water bill is $114, just strictly water, 3 times that is your sewage. That sends it to $342. That's where your increase is coming. And I don't know what the mayor recommendation, but I got a whole presentation I'm ready to make. But that ain't got nothing to do with you guys. I'm just letting the citizens know the meters are correct. I think they're better than the ones we had before. But we got to do something about the sewage side. That's where the increase is coming. That's where the cost is. The homes are seeing, because there's nobody using $315 worth of sewage. But that's what I don't want y'all just sitting there and say, well, that still ain't explaining to me why my bill $500. The bill is $500 because the water you use 3 times that is your sewage. That put that bill together, and you put your garbage together, you put all that, then you got a high water bill. So we got some work to do with another entity, and we come back on another day. But I personally, I think we're gonna have to do something. Because that's infrastructure work you guys did. And I don't think the citizens of Mall Point should be punished because we improved our infrastructure. That's my opinion. And that's my fight. So, I'm just want the citizens to know. I don't want you to walk out here and say, oh, if I go home and check all my water, the water ain't going down. Because you gotta account for the sewage. And we're gonna have to make some policies from this board to justify that. But we improved our infrastructure, we shouldn't get punished. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, it's two left shoes, but that's my opinion.
Okay. Robert?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks y'all coming. All right, we're down to item number 3. Public comments, Dr. Miles. Doc? Yeah. Got your 3 minutes,
Am I the only one signed to speak?
huh?
Am I the only one?
No, you're not.
Yeah, you don't want to sign up, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. Dr. Janice Mile, my address.
I need you, yeah, we'd like the address and also who your alderman. You know who your alderman is?
Say
You know
what?
your alderman? Who's your alderman? Which one of these people?
She doesn't live in the community.
Jim Duval.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
They were talking about putting in a bar nightclub at the shopping center.
Oh, sure.
I'm opposed.
Well, it's been denied.
It has.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's no reason for me to speak. Very good. Thank you.
Right, we're down to the,
It's public comments. I'm on public comments.
yeah, Alderman Duval.
All right. I'd like to say good evening to everybody. It's about that time again. My name is Alderman Timothy Dubose, and I'm here to speak on our community, our Ward 3 community meeting that's coming up this Tuesday, April 28th. And we're asking all the citizens of Ward 3 to be present. We're on a mission to improve our ward, and we need all of our citizens in Ward 3 to participate. And so that's been my cry since I've been on the board, is just to get steady participation in our ward to see improvement. So this meeting will be held at Magnolia Elks Lodge at 3800 McFeela Road, Moss Point, Mississippi. And we'd like you to join us at 6:30 p.m. and it'll last about an hour. And what we're trying to do is at least get those people who are relevant in our community, such as our police chief and our county supervisors. They have been some of our past speakers in the area of your concerns. And if there's any way that we can collect all of you guys' concerns in Ward 3, as well as citizens abroad in all of the wards, but we hope that all of the different aldermen do their due diligence with their community. But for most of all, we're just trying to make sure that those in Ward 3, our concerns are addressed and they're brought to me, and I can make sure that we work those things down on our list of things and tasks that we have to complete. So if you would, citizens of Ward 3, please be present Tuesday, 6:30 to about 7:30 at Magnolia Elks Lodge. I will host and moderate this meeting, but just please be present, and we're steadily knocking on doors and walking our town down, trying to get this information out. So I do appreciate your indulgence of me and this announcement. Thank you.
I'd also just remind you on May 1st and 2nd is our River Jamboree. And it's this River Jamboree will be special because we'll be ending to celebrate our 125-year anniversary. The capsule that was buried 50 years ago will be upended on July the 4th, but we'll start celebrating it on May 1st and 2nd throughout the city and here in City Hall with displays, talking about the history of Moss Point. Put that on your calendar, May 1st and 2nd, of River Jamboree. Now to the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board? Item 4.1 through 8. Motion to approve. Motion by Alderman Wilson, second by Alderman Bradford. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Agenda, item 5.1, approve decline item Zeta Drainage Study Project R-006-268-02-ZMP. Request board approval of request for cash number 9, $53,100, and authorize mayor to execute the same for submission to MDA submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Motion to approve. Motion by Alderman Wilson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item.
I'd like to abstain.
And next item, 5.2, approve decline Ida Zeta Emergency Drainage Rehabilitation Project R-006-268-01-ZMP. Request board approval of request for cash number 9, $2,750, and authorize mayor to execute same for submission to MDA submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
To approve.
Motion by Alderman Wilson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Abstain.
One abstention.
Main agenda item 5.3, approve decline I-10 Commercial Corridor Improvements Project, MDEQ 22-0037. Request board approval of request for cash number 7, $144,220, and authorize mayor to execute same for submission to MDEQ submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Motion by Alderman Chapman.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstention? And pass.
Item 5.4, approve client request to purchase a 2-inch water meter from E-Tech Services LLC for an amount of $1,516.59 for First Baptist Missionary Church at 4600 Main Street, Moss Point, amended modernization funds budget accordingly, submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Sisdale, second by Castro.
Yes.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Main agenda item 5.5, approve decline its request to install streetlights on the corners of Bellwood Street, Belfair Street, off Jefferson Street, 4500 Jamestown Road, and amend the budget accordingly, submitted by David Chapman, Alderman at large.
Motion approved with an explanation, Mr. Mayor.
The motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Chastain. Question, Alderman Chapman.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's more of an explanation. I need to correct the one thing, the address on 4500 Jamestown Road. That applies to 5000 Bellwood. That's what I wanted to clarify. The light at 5000 Bellwood, and that's one of the intersections requested by one of the streets, one of the locations requested by Alderman Dubose. And for those, the streets in question, Bellwood and Bellevue, are horseshoes. And he's requesting street lights on each one of those intersections that tie back into Jefferson Avenue. One of which was requested by Alderman Cunningham and approved by the board. It wasn't put on the budget, but it was approved to install at the corner of Bellwood and Jefferson. That's the only one that's been approved. And I'm not certain if it was amended, Ms. Thigpen. It was approved. The other three are the other three horseshoe intersections at Jefferson. So we need to approve those and amend them on the budget. Now, Alderman, I sent you the letter that came from Mississippi Power. When we discussed this before, Alderman Dubose asked if he could get some clarification. So we got the cost of each light that's to be installed. And if we need to install, there's not an existing one there. That cost was also in that communication that we sent to you. And those costs are incurred by the city, need to be amended to the budget so that A lot of these requests are for security lights, or we just need more lighting. This a light that's approved by the board to be added to the city's light bill that we pay. That scale that we sent you guys is what it would cost us per light and per light pole, Mr. Mayor. But one of the lights, the one that we had in question with Alderman Cunningham, we have to address 5,000 Bellwood. That's the one that we have already approved for installation. We just need to make sure it is amended to the budget. That's the only light that has been approved so far. So if you want to do the other three, we have to amend those. And I have some additional ones. I also sent you in that package, or Mississippi Power sent a request form if you would like to have a light installed. That's in that package. So you need to submit that to the city clerk so that she can forward it to Mississippi Power and it can be amended on the budget. Just wanted to clarify that, Mr. Mayor. One of those lights, Mayor, like 604 spring water that you asked us to look into. And in that case, details are it will be an additional light. It's not going to be one that's pretty much in the standard grid. The pattern is normally every other light pole. That's the normal pattern. And that 5,000 Bellwood is an exception. For whatever reason, there was no pole on the corner and they skipped about 3 light poles, Mr. Mayor. We need to put one on the one adjacent to that address.
So, Alderman Chapman, are you changing anything about this within this request that's on the agenda?
Welfare and that Jamestown Road. Jamestown Road is not one of those. That's a separate light, and we need to revisit that. We need to revisit the light on Jamestown. As a matter of fact, it's on spring water. That's the 6604 spring water.
How do we get, so you're saying we got the wrong address?
That's the wrong address.
Where do we get these from? Where do we
You
get?
got that from me. You got that from me. That was the wrong address. That Jamestown Road is what I gave to Miss Crystal because I didn't have 6604 at that time.
So just for the minutes, Mr. Chapman, on 5.1, where it currently reads is install streetlights according to Bellwood, Belfair, off Jefferson, and 4500 Jamestown. We can either do a substitute amendment or you can provide us the exact language that needs to be in there.
Yeah, we can approve, if you want to approve those 4 lights on a Bellwood and Belfair, those are accountable with one exception that was already approved.
Okay.
How much are the lights?
The lights are for a 50 watt LED roadway light. It's $9 per month. Without the pole, just the light. A 90 watt LED roadway or street light is $12 per month without the pole. A 30-foot wood lighting pole is $7.70 per month per pole. If they have to install a light pole with the approved light. Those are some amendments we have to make to the budget to approve those. Because you want to do the 4 lights. Do the 4 lights on Bellwood and Belfair. And it will be an additional $9 per month per light. And we're going to use 2 existing light poles. We already have 2. One on Belfair that we can use, and the one at the address 5,000 Bellwood that we can use. The other 2, I think we're going to have to install light poles.
Alderman Chapman, we are amending this item.
Yes, sir.
What is that order, Judge?
Yeah, if the movement that moved the motion be approved would like to correct the motion to reflect Alderman Chapman's correction, that he can do that, or else Alderman Chapman can offer a substitute amendment to it.
I'm offering a substitute amendment for 6604.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's 604 Springwater. Eliminate 4500 Jamestown. That's 5,000 Billwood. That's an incorrect address.
Second. So can I have a motion to accept this amendment, this amended item according to Alderman Chapman? Can I get a motion?
The Alderman Chapman motion, Alderman Lennox seconded that motion.
Okay. Are there any questions?
One other question, Mr. Mayor. You all should have received this communication from Mississippi Power. If you didn't, let me know. I'll resend it. It includes a form if you want to request a loan. That form is included, and it also has the price index if you want to refer to that.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.6, approve decline a request to postpone the demolition of Sue Ellen Gym until an engineering plan and cost of new construction of the gym can be presented to the Board of Aldermen, submitted by Alderman Timothy DuBose, Ward 3.
President Board.
So move with a question.
Motion by Alderman Bradford to accept with a question.
Second.
Second by Alderman DuBose. Question, Alderman Bradford.
My question is, have we put a plan together? Or anybody start working on a,
Certainly, we're doing that.
so we already moving on? So just want to delay it for what we.
He can tell you why he wants to lay it.
Well, I wanted to delay this because there was also a podcast that was put out that we didn't have ample money to put this building back in its, restore it and put it back in shape. So what I didn't want to happen is what happened after we tore down this recreation facility downtown is for it to be a lot. And I know before we had a plan to put this building, before it was given to us, that it was in uninhabitable. So before that happened, before we end up having something that gets on the back burner, before we have just a lot there at Sue Ellen, I wanted to know that there was a plan, a particular timeline, date, funds to make this building reappear. So I didn't want any of this to just be, okay, we just demoed a building. Now we have no recreational facilities, period. So I wanted to at least have in concrete that this building will be time-stamped and put back in shape at a certain particular time. So until that happens, plans, renditions, whatever it is, are presented to what we can fully restore this building back 100%. So I just definitely wanted to make sure that we put pause on this till we come up with that, because in construction, sometimes it's even better to rehab something than to have nothing at all. And so I would rather take what we have in hand and that we know, to not just demo something and then we just sitting back, well, we don't have the money to reconstruct it. So I just wanted to take pause to say until we come up with this, that I would suggest that we just hold up on the demolition side.
Attorney, I need you to weigh in on the liability. Our building officials have said the building is not habitable. It's not safe to use. So if we're going to pause on it and it's not safe to use, then what is our liability here to have a building there that is not safe to use? That means nobody can go in it.
If the city is on notice, as they are, that there is a structural deficiency that prohibits the safe usage of that building, then the city's obligation is to take the necessary steps to keep that building from being used. Not any different from a bridge that Richie comes and says this one's needs to be closed because it's not safe. So yes, the city's on notice. of the problems. And I think obviously you want to make sure the public is not at risk by usage of the building during the time it's this transition is taking place.
Okay.
Well, Mayor, Mr. Mark, so should we put orange fencing around it, block, close it off? Block the person.
But if the building is,
The building is locked.
Locked and secured.
I don't think fencing can make a difference. As far as not moving forward with the demolition, do you have a plan in place? And it's not going to change the fact that the building needs to be moved, so.
Well, I thought it was an issue that this building had two options, right? It had a option to repair, which was a cost, and there was an option as well as to demo and redo this building. So with the budget constraints or the money constraints, we're talking about red steel building. And these are H-beams that we're already in question of. So me knowing construction somewhat, I know that you can put plates in between all of that, and that may not cost $800,000 to make this thing habitable. And so what I'm trying to make sure is that we get the biggest bang for our buck, not just having a flat piece of land, an unusable place to even call ourselves to recreate. It's just been an icon in the community. I just rather it be standing unused and let that be somebody else's problem when that problem comes up where it can be resolved. But to say that we got an empty lot, it's just, to me, it's just futile. And either way, it's just futile. And so I'd rather see this building still stand with the option to repair it at some point or just let it stand.
was that building, was that the option to repair, wasn't that ruled out?
Well, anything can be repaired if you want to spend your money. So, I mean, the city's got to weigh those options. My suggestion would be hire a couple of contractors to come look at it, see what it takes to repair it, and then weigh the option of building a new building. I'm sure Richie's probably even that Richie.
The problem is to repair those columns, you got to shore it. You got multiple columns, so you have to shore it up to support the structure, pull that column out.
But you do this one column at a time, right? All right, so that's what I'm saying, is that.
It's not what that's going to be.
Right.
You really haven't explored getting a design for that without knowing if that was a feasible option or not.
I believe some of the problem with this is, and the reason it's happened is because of the elevation of that structure. And that lot holds a lot of water. So it's causing this over a period of time. And that's not something that's fixed at the elevation the building's at. So, and I understand where you're coming from. And I understand what you want for your constituents. I agree with you to some sort, but I mean, the city's just got to make some kind of decision of which way they want to move.
I think, in my opinion, again, that building needs to go. It's 60 years old. This board, again, I'm finna put the board to work because that's our job. That's why we went out and put out flyers and got elected. We got to come up with some money to build a new facility. It ain't no such thing if we ain't got enough money. We got all these friends around here been claiming they're gonna help them all point. Go to one of these banks, get a loan and pay it out of the 2% tax on term. But we need to tear that down, build a brand new one and move on. But just cause if you repair it and then you can't use it, you spend another $300,000 or $400,000, $900,000 for nothing. I think it needs to go down, but I think this board needs to come up with some financial income to borrow or whatever we gotta do. We got 2% tax, citizens aware of that. Take out a loan, pay it on term like everybody else around here do, and move on. But we need a new facility. You know, that's my opinion.
Anyone else? No, you can't talk up. Any other comments?
I was just gonna say what I had heard, I thought from the mayor was there were plans in the works. Granted, you gotta find the funding for a much better facility there. Maybe even with big enough for more than one court. Stuff in the works. And I agree, you know, you can't do it without the money, obviously, but I mean, if there's a consensus that that building cannot be used, it's unsafe. And I don't see the point of just leaving it there as another eyesore in the city with a big fence around it, when we could move forward and try to get it replaced sooner, because if you want a new building, you gotta tear that one down. The other thing is with this, I think the Alderman, both of Aldermen who spoken's point, board and the city need to decide, do they want an old patched up building there, or do they want something new? What do you want? Do you want something that's in a higher elevation, or do you want to leave that there at that low elevation that has moisture around it? Alderman Chastain said that used to be a pond or something there, and they filled it in and built a gym on top of it. But I don't see the benefit. Now, if it can be repaired and that's what the board wants to do, I had even wondered, can you insert, you know, a section into those steel beams, those steel supports? And if you do it like Alderman Dubose said, one at a time, work your way around, can it be repaired that way? But if I understood what y'all had said earlier in our previous meeting when this was discussed, it's rusted all the way down to the slab. So you would not only have to replace that section of beam, you'd have to re-anchor into the slab, which means, I guess, jackhammer it up, move over to the side, do something. You got to anchor it. Just not sure that's what we want, but I mean, I guess that's just a decision that has to be made. What do you want there?
Well, what we can do, gentlemen, is, as was suggested, is get an architect or whoever qualifies to go out and assess what the building is now and what it would take to repair it in the state it's in. And then come back with that figure to say, do we really want to repair it based on this cost? Knowing when we do that, if we say, yes, we can repair it, you still got a water issue. The water is still going to be coming in the building, also the way it's laying now. That's the issue we're also trying to solve. And that's really why it was corroded out, is because so much water over 50 years has been coming in that building. So it's up to you all to decide whether you want us to. We'll be glad to get someone to go out and evaluate it, to give us a call to repair it, every beam to give us that cost. We bring that back and decide whether it's worth it to repair it, or should we try to find the resources to build a new one. So the board, it's up to you all.
Man, I'm trying to stay in order, but I just want to make another suggestion. Can we give you permission, and the board vote you permission on a day-to-day basis to seek funding and come up with a funding package for a new facility?
Well, you know, I'm doing that already.
You doing that? You did
I'm doing that already. I told you we had a plan.
Good.
All right.
So we're doing that already. I mean, I'm not sitting here waiting for somebody to tell me what to do. I mean, I'm doing that already.
Good.
I'm not saying, I've been working ever since y'all told us it couldn't come down. I've had 2 or 3 meetings with architects. We're talking to people about writing grants to get money from them. I'm doing that already.
Give us an update on it.
All right, so where I'm at with this, we have a big bridge that's been out in Ward 3 on Bay Avenue for 4 years. We ain't tore it up until we just made people that can't use this bridge, right? The same thing. So we're looking to try to get that back in shape as well. So the thing I'm interested in, and of course, over 50 years, you need new shingles on your house. You need maintenance, period. So I'm not saying that this building doesn't need to be torn down. It probably does need to be torn down. But the fact is, when it comes down to the major building that we had for recreation, it's a flat piece of land. We had renditions, artist works here saying what we were going to do, build. That's 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. So we're still looking at phases that we hadn't even approached. So I'd rather look at this edifice until it turns into some more fruit, because I just don't believe it's a fruitless tree. So I believe it has a potential to either be rehabbed or reinvented, re something. But when you talk about the cost of reconstruction, that is a whole nother cost, dollar cost amount, per square foot cost amount. So when I'm saying that if you are tackling one particular issue, and we're saying, I don't believe this building, as I can be stationed over there for almost 20 years, have taken on water as flood water. Now, moisture in the tin, moisture from compromise in roof, yeah, your house needs shingles. Yeah, the tin needs to be replaced. Anything over 50, 60 years needs maintenance. So these are the things that we definitely have to address in anything. But what I do not want is just a flat piece of land and say, well, one day we're going to get it back in shape. One day we'll have it back in shape. One day, and that one day will be gone and forgot about. Hell, we may not even be an incorporated city at that point.
Well, Alderman DeBose, my building official looked at the building along with the city engineers, and all we can do is make a recommendation to the city. So y'all have to make a decision of where you want to go from there.
I just wanted to delay the demolition. I just wanted to delay this demolition until we came up with a finite plan of reconstruction. And what does that mean by it still standing there? Nothing. Long as these doors are closed, nobody's in it, it's just a building.
And we're fine with whatever direction the board wants to go.
I don't even believe you could pass another inspection to even put a building out there. They throwed it up in a pond, man. They knew that years and years, 50 years ago. You ain't gonna stop flooding in that building. If you put a new building there right now, the same thing gonna happen the next 25, 30 more years.
When the new building goes in, hypothetically, if the board decides to move that route, where that slab is gonna come out, the new building's gonna be at least a foot higher in elevation, so
You're gonna have a high chain wall.
what's that?
You better have a high chain wall, right? If you put something else out there.
Or dirt. And then you fill dirt.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be raised up, so drainage.
It got to be. It got to be.
So you have to have a civil engineer look at that and make the determination what needs to be done. Whether the site needs to be filled, if they can put on chain wall, something like that, of course, yeah. That's part of the process.
Yeah, right now you got water flowing towards the building. That's the building, you don't have water flowing.
Yeah.
What's the pleasure of the board?
It's been seconded.
Motion was made by Alderman Bradford, seconded by Alderman DeBose to postpone the demolition at this point. Is that correct, Alderman Bradford?
Yeah, we can postpone it. You can, it's folks down at the hospital on life support all the time. It's postponed, but it's dead.
I understand, but that's the motion on.
People want to do is his ward, so I make a motion we postpone it.
We have a motion by Alderman Bradford and second by Mr. Dubose to Alderman Dubose.
Mayor, there is one question. I'm sorry to interrupt, if you don't mind. Someone, and may have been you, recommended that maybe we change it to, it says here until we have a complete plan. But somebody had recommended that we just postpone it until we get a full evaluation. Could that?
Well, I
said, we take?
Yeah, I suggested that, but if you, that's up for you all to tell me. To do that, to get someone else to get an evaluation, determine whether or not, what it would cost us to repair it. That was what I was saying, if you want to go that route, and then bring that cost back and evaluate it based on what we can afford.
Alderman Dubose, could we go that route?
Yeah, y'all can go in and route. Look, yes, we can go that route. Again, to evaluate it, saying that whether it's worthy of cost, I would like to see some finite plans on putting this building back from zero to finish. And what does that look like? What timeline does that look like? What funding is required for that to happen? Do we even have that in our coffers to make that happen? So obviously we do not. And that's where my concern comes, because every time I get a call, man, we tearing down this. You've seen what they're doing, and I don't care how many plans we put in front of the public. That's all it is a plan. It ain't made nothing happen any different. So it's just a plan and no action behind it. So what we're looking at, however delayed this is, I'd rather it stay in place and hell, maybe a tornado hit it.
It's happened before.
So the motion is for the delay the demolition of 2 Ellen until the engineering plan and cost of new construction can be presented to the board.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Alderman Dubose, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to head that up to put this plan together?
You can try.
No.
No, well, look, either way, if the force is,
I'm just like with you.
I would like to be on a committee to
I
help.
like you to hit it. I like you to hit it.
I can't hit it.
You can't?
I can, but I can't. I mean, okay. So tell me, how am I supposed to hit it?
Be the lead in doing the research. You say you want a plan.
I would love to see.
So I'm saying,
okay,
I want you to be the lead to develop the plan so you can bring it back to us. And then we can decide how to go forward based on your plan.
so if we're talking about demolition,
No.
no, y'all had a plan already, right? Was it a plan already? Is it a plan already?
We just decided to do it. We said
No.
we're developing the plan.
Okay, but development and a plan, is there a plan already?
Not a complete plan.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Now you're putting the ball in my hand. Now when the play was already made that this building was to be demolition, I didn't have no lead in that.
No, but
It's in my ward. I didn't know anything about it. So what I'm saying is, these things, all I really want to do is just to make sure that this building gets put back in shape. That's it. I ain't saying nothing other than the obvious. If we got a plan, you podcasters saying we don't have the money to put this building back in shape. So why are we tearing down something we can't put back in shape?
it's not safe.
Okay, tear it down. Demolition.
But the motion has already been carried.
Let's revisit it.
We have a motion. It's been passed. We'll move on.
What's the motion?
Next item.
Motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider.
Second.
Got a motion to reconsider, which has been seconded on.
Okay. All in favor, say aye to reconsider.
Aye.
I have a new motion.
So now it's been reconsidered. Now you can proceed, Mayor, with reconsider.
There's a new motion. There's a new
The
motion.
motion is to authorize the mayor, Mr. Dubose, to from demolition all the way up to building it, come up with a plan and a cost and bring it back to the board. And we'll go from there. It's got to be torn down. It's got to be rebuilt. So that's the project. Come up with the numbers, how much it's gonna cost to tear it down, how much it's gonna cost to build it. Come up with one big plan and bring it back to the board. That's all we can do. We ain't waiting on the tornadoes.
Excuse me, Mayor, I thought the motion to reconsider was whether we tear it down or not.
That's it.
I got.
Well,
Motion is, the agenda item that we have is whether or not to approve or decline a request to postpone. Previous motion passed to postpone. That motion has now been voted to be reconsidered. So that is back before the board to determine whether or not to postpone the demolition.
Okay. So the motion is now back to the beginning. Is there a motion to uphold Alderman Dubose's recommendation to postpone the demolition? That's either yea or nay now, because we're revisiting that.
We back to plan A.
But
So we back from the start then, whether what we gonna do with that building or not. We back to the start. And you just vote. That's the way that motion,
New motion.
you got a new motion, reconsider. So now you're back to whether you go.
Yeah, yes. He
You know,
was wanted to reconsider it.
We gonna demolition this building.
Okay, make a motion to do that.
I make a motion that we go ahead with the demolition of Sewell and Gym.
Got a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Any nays? Motion passed. We have one nay.
Now, could I make my new motion?
Sure.
I make a motion that we create.
I don't think that's necessary because I'm already doing that, Mr. Bradford. I'll have some for you to.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'll have some.
Can you bring us a?
Yes, yes. So I don't, yeah, I'm already working. So I will be to present some to you. I can do that. I'm capable of doing that.
I believe.
I don't need no help.
Item 5.7, approve decline request to hire Savannah Nolan for the vacant position of deputy court clerk submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let's have it.
5.8, approve decline request to hire Melvin Montalvo as certified police officer submitted by Dennis Stevenson, chief of police.
Motion to approve. Second.
There's a motion by Justine, second by
Pastor.
Dunham. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it.
Item 5.9, approve decline request to hire Kenyon Elias for the vacant position of dispatcher submitted by Dennis Stevenson, chief of police.
So move. Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Justine. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.10, approve decline request to hire Jessica Vernon for the vacant position of dispatcher submitted by Dennis Stevenson, chief of police.
Motion to approve.
Second.
To Alderman Justine,
Yes, sir.
by
Pastor.
Alderman Vastro. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Motion to adjourn.
That concludes the main agenda. We have now at 5.11, the discussion section. Alderman Chapman.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Mayor, members of the board, myself, Mayor, Mr. Richie Ashley, at the direction, or at least the advice of inspection. I was floored to find out that we did not have permit process. We approached office with that. The only process we had in place, Mr. Mayor, was Mr. Beaman. And when Mr. Beaman left, we didn't even have that. So I'm proposing, Mayor and I have talked about it. And I'm presenting this to you now so that you won't be able to say later on, well, he didn't say anything to us about this. We need to formulate a process and have that process in place if something happens to me or something happens to Richie, God forbid, but have a process in place that we follow. Currently, I've asked and they've done so. The mayor has allowed us to do so. Richie, myself, Mr. Russell, we have met with contractors when they request a permit for Marcus to do any work in our city. He would advise us that you have a request for the following work. We would sit down with those contractors, which would review those drawings, the scope of their work, to understand exactly what they are doing and what impact it's going to have on any other projects that may be underway. And we'll also involve Mr. Russell so that they would have, they would be advised and be aware of what activity is going on. And if something happens, how or where they need to respond. Now that has worked very well for us. It really has. But we do it on a case by case and an as needed basis. So we need a process. And before Richie has informed, I can touch base with other municipalities to see what processes they follow, and we can formulate a draft to present to each of you. But I don't want you to be able to say, you didn't say anything to us about this before. So before we put, Richie already has a lot on his plate. He's been very understanding. So does Marcus. But if you want us to go to the trouble of doing all of this investigating, all of this research, to put together a plan, and then we can present it to you, I have no problem with doing that, but we got to do better than what we're doing now. So far, we're communicating with these planning meetings. Marcus has advised us of the work that's being requested, and we try to follow the scope of work as best we can. We found a couple of flaws where we had overlapping activity, and we had to make some decisions. Somebody had to wait. We need that process. You need that process in the event that we're not around to make sure it happens. So that it doesn't matter who, if Alderman Bradford has to have the review, he'll have a process in place. Or if Alderman Wilson has to have this review with our contractors, we need that. So I'm proposing that you authorize us to formulate that process and present it to the mayor. And if he's buying in, then we present it to the board. But before we go to all that trouble, I need to know if you want to do it. I got to know that.
All right, of course.
Go ahead.
Mr. Martin, you don't have a process where contractors come through your office to be permitted to go to work, or how much it costs? We already have a permit.
Yes, sir. We have a process for permitting. This is a different type of permit. This is AT&T, people that are doing work in the right of ways, in the city right of ways. We don't permit that type of work in Jackson County. And usually what I've done is when they contact me, I send that to Alderman Chapman, to Richie, to review that, because we don't do it in Jackson County. You know, I don't know anything about utilities. I don't know where Moss Point's water lines are. I can't speak for any of that. So I think collectively they have gotten together and made the determination that, okay, this is okay to move forward with. And when they do that, you know, we allow them to move forward. I think what Alderman Chapman is saying is that there's really no formal process for permitting or reviewing these types of utility type works. So I guess he's saying that if he's not around, who will step in and review it at that point? We don't have a problem permitting it. If the city wants to permit it, all we have to do is come up with some type of a permit fee for it, and we'd be glad to permit it. We just have to have an approval process for it. And we can't do that because, like I said, we don't know where the city's lines are. You know, the city has to look at those plans and make the determination that, because I believe in the past, I think they've cut through the city lines several times, haven't they?
Right, because I have had that issue 2 times in my ward. And thank God the Clearwater, they sucked it up because those people cut in the lines, they cut in the cable, they cut in everything. And who's responsible? Who gives them permission to do this? Because they leave it just like they tear it up.
Exactly.
And people are having problems. And I just thought maybe you might have had, you know.
So that's why Alderman
Nobody has no ruling for them.
That's why Alderman Chapman's bringing it, because there's not a process in place for that review process, basically.
Right.
Who's going to review it? Who's going to look at it? Who's going to make the determination that they're not going to hit lines, or who's going to be responsible if they do hit lines? You know, they need to coordinate with somebody.
Right, they do.
Our office can handle the permitting. We can do that. All we have to do is set a fee and permit it, but we have to have somebody to review it prior. And that's not something that our office does.
What about the position that we're advertising for building code enforcement?
That's code enforcement.
They couldn't do it.
This is going to take some engineer reviews and some clear water reviews, because they're, you know.
This is for activity in the public right of way already, right? That's what this is. So
it's working.
The question is, who has access and right to work in the public right of way? Is it just the city? Is it public utilities?
City right. You have to give them permission to work in your public.
Right, but these people paying up stuff in people's yard.
It involves utilities, infrastructure fall under your right of way or your public right of way.
Yeah, in the right of way, not a private building that you'd get a bit far to go do work. It's all in the right of way. Yeah.
Private property, private.
That's, Public Works. They already,
Public Works is involved in reviewing it. I think Russell looks at the drawings, and Richie looks at them now, and Alderman Chapman, I think, is heading that up, making sure that that's happening. But I think he's wanting some kind of a formal process for that. I mean, this is something we come up with temporarily because there is no process.
Right. So the only way we can do it to ensure that Richie understands they have the up-to-date drawings. Mr. Russell understands that it does not conflict with any other infrastructure work or public works activity that's taking place. Now, there's another piece to this, and I'm so glad y'all brought up the leaks. And we discussed, we did discuss it, but they discussed it in the supervisor meeting on Monday. The elevation of properties and the cost of permitting for that, and the suggestion was mentioned, why not charge a fee in the permit process that's refundable? Sure. So if you charge that fee and they cut a water line and it costs us several $1,000s in man hours, we can recover that from whatever that fee is and refund what remains. So the city is not out of any money. As of right now, the city is paying for every repair. Our manpower is dedicated to that repair to restore that service. The number one object after they disrupt or they cut a line is we got to get it back in service. And right now we're paying for that. There's no recovery. So we're also suggesting in that permitting process that we include a permit fee. It may be refundable if they don't do any damage. Otherwise, we can track the man hours and the expense of whatever material we have. My front yard is a prime example. They cut a main water line in my yard, dug up my driveway, installed a T connection to restore that service, and the city paid for it. We didn't break anything. We were out of that man hour that they put into it. Mr. Russell and his guys restored the service. So we need to put some kind of provision so we can get our money back if they do that damage. But it has to be a process that we use every single time and not just as needed or the case may be.
One thing that I would add is, and Tristan, if you were talking about it, is essentially you would need to, as you do with other things, have an ordinance. And so you need a committee put together to develop an ordinance to bring it back before the board to address this issue.
That's exactly what I need. And I need to.
Technical review.
I didn't.
Is that what we?
I call it. Yes, that's exactly what I call it. STOP. STOP. Strategic Technical Operating Process. And without all of this input and all of that review, stop whatever you're trying to do until we complete it and get it approved. But now before we go through all of this work of putting this together, including the legal process, you need to review it to make sure that it's an ordinance that's in the copy. So I need to know before we do all this, and Richie's got to help me with it. So, and he doesn't work for me, he works for the mayor, but I have the mayor's buy-in on getting it at least drafted. That's what I need from you guys.
And we can help with the permitting process, even the fee schedule on it. As far as the review of it, that's where you need something in writing, basically state what to be done prior to permitting. And usually in Jackson County, if we have something that we can't do in-house, we hire that out, third-party engineer review, and then we charge that fee back to the contractor. Okay, so I don't know if the city is interested in doing that, because really, I don't know if a third-party person could fully do it, because Russell and his people have to be involved, because they know where the lines are in most people. Okay? Third party's not going to know where the lines are. So the city just really needs to determine how they want to work that process. We'll be glad to assist in any way
Thank you, Mark.
Because we will get a committee together to put it together to bring it back to the board and for your review.
Yes, sir.
Get a committee, Alderman Chapman, we'll put a committee together to do that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. That'll really help us in.
Got next, George, anything else on
I got one other thing. Mayor. I got one other thing that's killing me. I need to know, and Miss Thigpen and I talked about this. We had 4 signs, welcome to the River City of Mossville. We had 4. One of them was completely destroyed at I-10 and Highway 63. We had another one that was almost destroyed at Highway 90 and Highway 63. That the city is going to have to replace or repair. I'm recommending to this board, however you do it, we need some protective barriers around these signs. You have two more signs left. One at I-10 and 63. That's unprotected. You have another one at Jefferson and Highway 613. That's not protected. And I've talked to the mayor about it, and he's looking to it. Now, before we go to the trouble, before I draft Richie and the rest of these guys to help me design what we need to design and assess what we need to pay to get that done. Before we go to all that work, I need to know if that's what you want to do. If you want to leave them like they are, I'm fine with leaving them just like they are, and you take your chances. But they wiped out 2, and it's a good possibility there's nothing to protect the other 2. So I'm recommending you do something.
When you say wiped out, are you talking about an act of nature?
No, sir. This was an accident on I-10 and 60 and I-10 and 63, and that guy completely demolished the sign. There's nothing there now except some of the shrubbery we had around it. Now, I don't know how in the world this happened, but the one at Highway 90 and 63 is on a dead-end road that ends at a factory, place of business there. I don't know how they got off Highway 90 onto that access road and hit that sign. It's almost impossible to do it, but they did it. And now that sign has to be repaired. And Mayor, what did you tell me that sign was? Those signs cost what now? $70,000, $80,000 a piece? Is that what it was?
Well, at the time they was built, it was 45,000, but now the cost would be more.
So Alderman Chapman, you saying protect them, what you mean by putting up something like iron post?
Every fire monitor, every hose reel that we had, every piece of safety equipment or a control system, we had large iron posts, concrete reinforced, that went down about 4 feet underground and made a barricade around that structure. So that if they go through that post, then it has to be a rock. It's almost impossible. But now that takes some design, engineering, and things of that nature that could cost us a lot of time. But I'm telling you, you need to protect your sign. That's the bottom line. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Agenda.
Nope.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Alderman Chastain, second by, is it second by?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
Chicken is